The film opens at a swim meet. Chung-ton and her best friend Yoon Neri are both competing, with Lee Si-hee in the stands cheering them on. Tion comes in first with Neri in third place. While both swimmers have pictures taken of them, Tion calls Si-hee out from the crowd and gets her to pose with them for a picture. The scene shifts to 2 years later. At the pool, a member of the swim team, Kyung-hee, goes for a practice swim in the pool but is suddenly dragged underwater by a mysterious black smoke. Kyung-hee struggles, but then spots a corpse-like figure staring back at her and screams. The school is in the middle of final exams. Neri, tired of studying, makes no real attempt at the test. Si-hee gets a severe nosebleed. The teaching assistant, Mississippi Park, tries to let her go to the nurse, but the teacher, Mr. Cha, refuses to let her go. After the test, Neri watches the swim team practice before getting up and leaving. She has quit the team. The coach tells Neri to study hard in order to get into a good college now that she doesn't have swimming to fall back on. Above the swimming pool, a male student, Wonho, takes pictures of the swim team in their bathing suits. Miss Park messes up during a class evaluation, causing the students to laugh. While she tries to teach, the students pass around a photograph of Mississippi Park and another teacher, edited to look like they were having sex. Just as he gets hold of the picture, Kim Jang-kook, known as JK among the students, is called on to read from the textbook. Mississippi Park demands that he hand over the picture, but becomes embarrassed when she sees what it is and crumples it up. Yeom Ji-eun approaches Si-hee and asks if she wants to rejoin her study group. Si-hee says no. Kwon-woo, who has been handing out milk cartons to the students, tosses a carton at Ji-eun, who moves. The milk hits Si-hee instead, exploding and drenching her. Mr. Chai enters just then, and the students return to their seats. As Kwon-woo passes Si-hee's desk, he hands her a handkerchief to dry herself. Mr. Cha announces that the top 30 students in the school will be enrolled in a summer course and will still be at the school during summer break, starting tomorrow. It is shown that Neri has been enrolled in the program despite her ranking being lower than 30. Neri calls her mother and demands to know why she was put in this class, saying that she only wanted to quit swimming, not get involved with more studying. She accuses her mother of giving the school money, and not for the first time, in order to get her into the summer program. While Si-hee packs for the summer course at home, Tion sits at the piano behind her, teasing her for her intense study habits. She asks Si-hee to play something for her on the piano. When Si-hee finishes, Tion demonstrates that all she can play is chopsticks. While she plays, Si-hee glances over to see that Tion has become a rotting corpse, complete with hollow eye sockets dripping with blood. Si-hee screams, then wakes up from where she had been sleeping at her desk. She turns behind her and sees the piano bench empty, but water droplets can be seen on a few of the keys. Before the summer program begins the next day, Si-hee and Neri run into each other but don't speak. JK and Yong-ran, his girlfriend, speed by on JK's motorcycle. The rest of the students trickle in. Mr. Kong, the principal, tells the class that this course will be about competition for the highest ranking and to see the other students as rivals. Mississippi Park takes the cell phones from the students. Wonho hands her a small nude figurine wrapped in bondage along with his phone, but she ignores it. During lunch, Yong-ran reveals to Ji-eun that she plans to have sex with JK that night. Si-hee is too absorbed in her flashcards to pay attention to Kwon-woo's apology for the milk incident. That evening, Mississippi Park and Mr. Cha are left to supervise the students by themselves. As Mr. Kong is leaving for personal matters, he assures them that the doors and gates will be locked and nothing could go wrong. In the dorm, Hyuna, another friend of Ji-eun, is putting up her numerous pill bottles when another girl, Min-young, tells her that Kyung-hee saw the ghost of Chung-ton in the swimming pool. Hyuna becomes upset and leaves, and Neri criticizes Min-jung's sense of humor over someone's death. In the bathroom, Hyuna takes her pills and begins to hallucinate hair growing rapidly all over her body, then blood being dumped on her from the ceiling. The swimming coach goes to shower, but hears noise coming from the other room. The lights go off and the coach begins fumbling around. A sudden burst of light in her eyes makes her scream before she is thrown against the wall and killed. Yong-ran sneaks through the halls to her meeting spot with JK. She is pinned to the wall by someone wearing a mask. It's only JK, who removes the mask before they begin to make out. Outside, Mr. Kong finishes locking the gates and leaves just as the televisions and lights in the hallway begin to flicker. The students in Mississippi Park have all fallen asleep at their desks while studying. As the clock strikes midnight, the school bell plays and wakes the students. Si-hee notices something written on the blackboard. When an innocent mother is killed, what son wouldn't avenge her? Hyuna wakes up to find blood dripping onto her forehead. Yanggran's body suddenly breaks through the ceiling tiles, hanging from a rope. Foreign characters are sewn into her face. The PA system turns on and a male voice announces that students will die, and that the students must find the answer to who is killing them and why in order to leave the school alive. Yong-ran is suddenly dropped and dies on impact with the edge of a desk. The students, terrified, find that they are locked in. The televisions in the hallway turn on to show JK laying in the middle of a different school hallway, waking up from unconsciousness. A mysterious figure appears in the same hallway on his motorcycle, proceeds to run JK over repeatedly until he is dead. Hyuna begins to panic and says that Taeyeon has come to kill everyone. Mr. Cha appears, and the students tell him that Youngran and JK are both dead. They beg him to let them out, but he tells them that Mr. Kong has the keys. He tells Mississippi Park to take the students back to the classroom, and goes with Kwok Sol to try to find a working telephone. Sol tells Mr. Cha that the lines have been cut and that there is also no wireless signal in the classroom. Hyuna takes more of her pills as some of the other girls discuss Taeyeon. It is revealed that Taeyeon committed suicide in the school swimming pool. A male student begins to get aggressive, accusing another student of being behind the killings and threatening to beat him up. Hyuna screams and hallucinates ants crawling all over her. She begins clawing at herself and even stabs herself with a pen to get rid of the ants. Jiun tries to stop her but ends up getting slashed in the face with the pen. Hyuna starts foaming at the mouth and coughing up blood, just as Jiun notices that the pills Hyuna had been taking were not her prescribed ones, meaning someone had switched her medication. Hyuna dies. Sihi repeats the riddle she saw on the board and Jiun comes up with an answer. The riddle references Queen Yoon, mother of King Yeonsan. Yoon was poisoned and killed. Mr. Cha and Sol enter the classroom right then. The same male student from earlier becomes aggressive again, accusing Mr. Cha of being involved in the murders. Angered, Mr. Cha punches the student, but before the student can return the blow, the lights go out. Mr. Cha gets a flashlight and asks for everyone to stay together and go to their dorms while he goes to the maintenance room with Mississippi Park and Sol. In their dorm room, Sihi mentions to Neri that the photo of them with Taeyeon is still hanging in Taeyeon's bedroom. This is the first time she has spoken of Taeyeon since her suicide. Min Young, confused, asked if Sihi lived with Taeyeon. The scene changes to a flashback of a miserable Sihi and her father sitting in a restaurant, where Sihi is meeting her father's new fiancé for the first time. When she arrives, she has her daughter with her, Taeyeon. Taeyeon mentions that she's excited to be in the same class as Sihi the next semester. Sihi responds that she hopes no one finds out that they will be stepsisters. In the present time, Sihi begins to cry, saying that she feels guilty for the nasty way she treated Taeyeon. Neri says she was angry that she was never told that Sihi and Taeyeon were stepsisters. Sihi apologizes to Neri, even though it's too late. Kyunghee is out in the hallway, banging on a dorm room door and begging for someone to let her in. After a few minutes, Wonho opens his door and invites her in. In his room are several figurines like the one he gave to Mississippi Park, of nude women in bondage. Wonho asks if Kyunghee remembers when, a year before, she sat next to him and shared her lunch with him during a school trip. He then asks if she wants a blanket, but Kyunghee, clearly uncomfortable, says no and leaves. Wonho follows her out into the hallway, begging her to stay with him. Around this time, some of the male students break into one of the classrooms and grab a box of spray paint cans in the maintenance room. Mr. Cha connects two wires and turns the power back on. A generator comes on as well, which turns on a weapon that kills Sol. Mr. Cha and Mississippi Park separate, and Mr. Cha finds Jiun wandering the halls alone. She asks him if the murders had anything to do with that. Mr. Cha insists that nobody knows about whatever happened, and that she shouldn't mention it again. She tells him that there is one other person involved with the mysterious incident. In a flashback, Jiun is shown sitting in class when she receives a picture on her phone of a dead girl. She looks around and sees Wonho smiling at her. At a later time, Wonho approaches Jiun and hands her what appears to be a set of picture slides, and she in turn hands him a packet of unknown pictures. Off to the side, Mr. Cha is shown on his cell phone telling someone on the other line that Jiun will no longer be pestered with these kinds of issues. Back at the school, Mr. Cha, carrying a hammer, follows a trail of blood to the school darkroom where he finds Wonho sitting at a desk with his head down. Mr. Cha raises his hammer to attack Wonho, who he is surprised to find is already dead. Mr. Cha notices that the wall is covered in pictures of some of the students running through the pool area during one night. He tears the photographs down, then sees the negatives in a large incinerator. An unseen force pushes him inside, slamming the door shut. The school bell rings again, and the televisions turn on to show images of Sol's dead body and Mr. Cha locked in the darkroom incinerator. The students hurry to the darkroom to get him out, but see that the incinerator has a timed lock that requires a code word. Several of the pictures around the room and pictures on a slideshow on the wall have letters on them, pieces of the code. The students begin naming those who are featured in the photographs: Youngran, JK, and Jiun. Sihi figures out that the code is Memento Mori, but before she can input the code, the incinerator turns on and burns Mr. Cha alive. After Mr. Cha's death, Sihi realizes that the characters sewn on Yanggran's face mean to forget. A slide of a beaten and dead Taeyeon pops up on the wall, and Sihi repeats Memento Mori, or never forget your mortality. Neri sees the picture as well. It dawns on her that Taeyeon didn't really commit suicide, and she demands for Sihi to tell her the truth. Kwan-woo notices that the next picture in the slideshow is of Ji-eun, and comments that everyone in the pictures around the darkroom is now dead, except for Ji-eun, who is now missing. Ji-eun wanders the halls of the school, having left the darkroom after the other students recognized her in the pictures. Mississippi Park finds her, and Ji-eun tells her that she, Ji-eun, is the next to die. In a flashback, one of the student study groups, JK, Hyuna, Sol, Youngran, and Ji-eun, are at school studying late one night. They break out a bottle of whiskey from Ji-eun's locker and get drunk. The conversation turns to sex, and Sol reveals that he is still a virgin. They spy on Taeyeon in the gym showers, washing off after a swim. The other students pressure Sol into raping Taeyeon. He attacks her while the others watch and laugh. Humiliated, she threatens to tell the police. Youngran informs her that Sol's father is a prosecutor, and if she takes this to the police then they will make it look like her fault. Ji-eun hands Taeyeon a towel and tells her to go back to swimming, but Taeyeon slaps her. Ji-eun pulls her hair and she slips, hitting her head against a shower knob. Taeyeon falls to the shower floor, dead. Ji-eun, back at the lockdown school, tells Mississippi Park that it was an accident and that she will turn herself into the police if it means everyone can be set free. Mississippi Park asks Ji-eun why she decided to reveal the truth now. Ji-eun stares at Miss Park's calm face, realizing she is involved, and screams as a hidden figure grabs her. The other students wander the halls looking for Ji-eun. The televisions turn on to show Mississippi Park seated in front of a microphone. She tells them that they must remember that with every action comes responsibility. For the following 10 minutes there will be phone signal, and locked in a safe in the auditorium is a cell phone that can be used to call for help before the time runs out. Several of the students head for the auditorium, but 3 of the boys head for the broadcasting studio where Mississippi Park is. In the studio, Mississippi Park sits staring at the microphone as a man standing beside her puts his hand on her shoulder. He tells her that she did good before another flashback starts. 2 years earlier, the mysterious man, Young-bum, gets a text from his girlfriend, Taeyeon, that she wants to break up. He calls her cell but gets no answer. The phone is laying smashed on the ground beside the pool. The students involved in Taeyeon's death are seen running away from the pool, and pictures are taken of them by Wonho. Young-bum arrives at the pool and spots her dead body floating in the water. He drags her out to perform CPR, and Taeyeon regains consciousness long enough to speak Sol's name before dying. Just then the swimming coach enters the pool area and screams. She testifies that Young-bum killed Taeyeon, followed by Mr. Cha, Wonho, Youngran, JK, Sol, and Hyuna stating that Taeyeon and Young-bum were dating, Young-bum was a troublemaker, Taeyeon was a slut, and more. When it gets to Jaeyoon's confession we hear the officer talking to her father, and it is hinted that her father donates money to the police. Ji-eun and her friends are free. Young-bum, on the other hand, is shown in handcuffs climbing on a bus. He has been convicted of murdering Taeyeon. Later, Jung-bum's sister, revealed to be Mississippi Park, visits her brother in the insane asylum. She hands him an envelope that was addressed to him, presumably the pictures of Taeyeon's murder. Young-bum continuously fidgets and wraps a piece of string around his finger. He asks if his sister has seen Taeyeon, as he can't find her anywhere back at the school. Young-bum tells his sister that she can leave, he will handle the rest. She hugs him and leaves, but as she goes down the stairs crying she is attacked and beaten by the group of boys who had come to find her. In the auditorium Ji-eun is tied up, rigged to a noose that will hang her if someone pulls on the key at the end of the rope, the key to open the safe containing the cell phone. The students try to untie her but can't. Kwan-woo, Si-hee, and Neri try to keep Ji-eun alive, but in the end she is hung as the key is used to open the safe. The students grab the phone with only a few seconds to spare but the signal cuts out before they can get out more than a few words. Downstairs, Young-bum sets the school on fire. The students all run out of the auditorium to try and escape. The boys create a large bomb using the spray paint cans they had taken earlier, taping them to the locked gate leading to the school doors and throwing a lighter at them to make them explode. The explosion destroys the gate. As the students leave the school grounds, Neri tells Kwan-woo that Si-hee is missing. Back at the pool, Si-hee stands on the edge of the diving board, remembering a time when Taeyeon helped teach her to swim. Young-bum appears behind Si-hee, asking if she has seen Taeyeon. In his hands is a heavy chain attached to a weight. He chokes her and asks if she was a part of Taeyeon's death. In another flashback, Si-hee is shown fetching food for Ji-eun and the rest of the study group. She comes in just as they are planning for Sol to rape Taeyeon, and she begs them not to. Ji-eun tells her she can either stay and watch or leave. Si-hee leaves the school, crying. Young-bum pushes Si-hee over the edge of the diving board, the weighted chain wrapped around her ankle, but she pulls him down with her. He continues to choke her underwater until Kwan-woo pulls him off. Neri attempts to get the chain off from around Si-hee's ankle but can't. Si-hee blacks out, and the ghostly corpse of Taeyeon grabs her ankle. Another flashback is shown of Taeyeon and Si-hee in the pool, talking about going to the beach in their bikinis to flirt with men. Young-bum and Neri appear, and Young-bum begs them to take him along. Neri pushes him into the water and they all laugh. The unconscious Sihee smiles. Tion's ghost corpse sees this and slowly becomes less disfigured. She removes the chain from Sihee's ankle and watches as her stepsister's body floats to the top of the pool. Young Bum, the pleasant, happy young bum from the flashback who had been pushed into the pool, swims past her and together he and Taeyeon's ghost swim off together hand in hand. The picture of Sihee, Nari, and Tion floats on the pool water as the screen fades to black. During the credits, Kwan-woo is shown reviving Sihee with CPR. He holds her, and she spies something behind him. He turns and the image of his face freezes, then fades to black. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video.